Okay. So this is the header that you are referring to, right? And that's the first part. And what's the second header here? This is the
Yeah.
second header,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Course set header. There are two
Gotcha.
things, right? It's yeah.
So this is under the touchscreen keyboard, right? And so this is as a kind of like they're given you example here how the primary navigation will work. Basically, it says a primary navigation is designed to allow user to quickly jump from one part of application to another. Okay, it appears at top of every page and it is activated using the mouse. Now it consists of a main menu and the sub menus are popped up. So obviously these are the header part, right? Now this is example. Okay, so remember that this is a mock-up screen. Mock-up meaning some dummy screen. They have it
This is
here.
not the real screen they are talking
Yes,
about,
yes.
right?
This is not the real one, but
Ah.
what they are talking about here is, hey, this one will work something similar to this. Like you will have some header menu and then you will have pop-up menu under that.
Oh, that's what I got confused because only the next header is explained the whole throughout the file.
Right, right. But this is the actual. This is how it will look actually.
Okay.
So you will have admin, receiving, shipping, inventory, warranty, logout, and home. So this is how it will look. Now, when you hover over inventory, then there will be a sub menu items which will pop up.
Okay.
So or receiving will have those items and so forth.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any other question on these things, menus or anything? Yes, go ahead.
This is Rohini. Does anybody have any other question? Should I go ahead?
Go ahead, Rohini. Looks like you are the one. Yep.
So if you go to the header of core site,
okay,
we are talking about like the whole process is about like receiving, shipping, inventory, warranty, right?
Yes. So we will talk about the flow as well, right? There is a workflow, so we will go through that. But let me.
What about the admin? Admin, because it's linked to admin. Some of it, like some functionalities work with admin. That's my question on this one. And
okay, so what is the question on this one for the admin?
So is that like a functionality that we would be testing as well, or like are you going to give us the data and then we will work with these 4 modules?
No. So you will always have admin modules in any system. Okay. Our flow is a little bit different, but in typical scenario is that you will have core functionality like receiving, shipping, inventory, and warranty. That is more of a business facing. Okay, so the user facing, where the actual users, the business users, the receivers, shippers, inventory folks, they will log in.
Yeah, even if you look in our flow, right? The creating user functionality is an admin functionality. It is just organized a different way than this one is specifically calls out for the administration functionality.
Through that, somebody needs to set up certain things. Does it make sense? So there are certain items, certain functionality that is part of the admin module that is accessible to the folks who have higher level authority or higher level permissions. The users will get access to receiving, shipping, inventory, and warranty, but certain kind of backend folks who needs to configure the system.
So in my testing scope, admin module is there too as well.
We haven't defined the scope for each individual team yet. But yes, you will have that at least one module as part of your testing scope.
Okay. Okay. How about the touch screen? Like,
well, as you will be QA, so you have to consider anything and everything for testing.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to jump to the second part here to see if you guys have any question here on this particular modules or items.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So I know this application is called Laser Saver. So what is course site that is written on every page, as in the course site header and a course site footer?
It's a company.
Right. So it's application name, right? So anything that you come across has some type of name, basically. Now, course site is a company. Think it at like Rflown is a company, and application name is Rflown as well in our scenario. But here, the company name is course site, who is a sponsor of this project. So course site is a company who is basically building this laser saver system to tackle certain problems, basically for the inventory and warehousing.
But here it says that the client name is Laser Saver. So would that be the name of the company, or would that be the—
Where does it say client name is Laser Saver?
the first page on the project itself?
Oh, it's just somebody basically typed it, but it's a course site is a company,
Okay.
and Laser Saver is a project.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Or the system name. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna flip it here and move. Just stop me if you have any question on any of this. Well, otherwise, I'll assume that you understand what the requirements are here on this particular sections. And
I have a question in phone number and email. If anybody is having it, they can go ahead. So this phone number format is kind of confusing for me.
Okay.
So the requirement says any number less than 7 will be rejected. Between 7 and 10 will be rejected.
Okay.
10 and 12 will be rejected.
Okay, so you are referring to this, right?
Yeah, any numbers over 12 will be truncated.
Yeah, so what that one is saying is that you can have a customer internationally, right? So local, you don't need to dial an area code, so that 7-digit is kind of accepted. When you look at—
No, it says rejected.
No, what I'm saying is that it will be rejected because what is your phone number? It's either 7-digit, 10-digit, or 12-digit.
Okay.
Right? 7-digit is pure local only. 10-digit is national. You can call anywhere with the area code. And 12-digit is international.
So only three number is allowed: 7, 10, and 12, right?
Yes, that's what this one says. Anything outside those, it's an invalid phone number.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Right. So look at the 2, 3, and 4 talks about the format also.
Yeah.
So with that being said, if there is with international clients too, they have an option over here, then shouldn't the address also include country? I know it stops here with just states, as in 50 states, but then if this is an option, then the option for country should have also been there for the address, right?
Okay, so you may have to think about it. They may initially start with that ability to have those things and eventually expand it internationally. Right now, they may say, hey, the requirement is just, we'll do locally, but the people could call it from international context.
Okay.
As with WhatsApp, right? You can have customers sitting anywhere in the world and still calling you.
And then the email, then I have a question in email. So email, some of the persons can have email address, like they have special characters, but it mandates it should have ampersand space and like underscore. Is that like, if I have my, so for example, Deepa $, I can have my email ID like that way, right? That it's a company created email ID, like the second one.
So what it's saying is mandate only the following characters, underscore and dash, right?
Yeah, if any, like people can create mail ID, like, I guess, with all special characters, right?
What
you can't create email with all special characters.
Yeah, no, $, is allowed, right?
No, not in the email. Those are like a special parsing characters for that.
Okay.
The same for regarding the email address number 4. It says a mandate that the string contain 1 period. What is the case like with some of the emails? They do have more than 1 period.
So this one contains, what did you say? It should contain only .NA com type of thing. Currently, it does not support the multiple periods. That's all this one is talking about.
Right.
So currently does not support, but so what will be the case scenario of the email? It's like, is it about the creating the email on the system, or is it about the existing emails for the customers?
So I would suggest it is read the entire document, right? This is the classic scenario of, is it complete, right?
And the email is referenced everywhere in the system. Now you are not creating the emails. I'm not sure if you have gone through all the requirements, but there is no creation portion for the email. It's just a data entry. And what they are saying is, this is what we will support. If you have anything else in the email, we will not support. We will not let you enter.
Okay.
So that's your scope.
This is the default setting, and whatever is going to go outside the scope is not going to be supported.
Well, you as a tester need to make sure that this is what it needs to support. Anything else outside, you will see. That means you have to go through the bug process, defect management process. But as a tester, you are testing based on these requirements.
Yeah. So I want you guys to think about it. This is not about, hey, what all the different combination of email it can support it, right? This is about what restrictions they want system to put in place for anybody who is entering email addresses.
I have a question. So you're saying the line 2, A dot, right? So that doesn't, so it says that allowed characters are space, hyphen, underscore, correct? These are the special characters that we are going to allow other than at sign and 1 period. Is that right? Is that what it means? I'm confused with this A dot or something. So.
Yes. So it's A dot, B dot. They thought, okay, so A, B, C, and the A says this one, and those things. B, if they don't have B, so it makes it confusing. But I'll clarify it for you. But the A is just a number. Okay, it's not like you have to have A dot. Okay, it's not about talking about. It's just saying the sequence or indexing numbering scheme. That's all they have.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
But my question is, if I'm creating a software for a customer, it should be able to allow their personal email like in a correct form, ampersand, or like, why you're putting those restraints on it?
Well, because that's a business requirement that is given by the user. So they need to follow what's given by the user, right? If the customer approves this requirement, that's what the system needs to stick to that functionality. And this is the requirement given to you as a QA as well. Now, if something is not clear, yes, certainly you can do that, suggest basically, but customer will come back and say, no, this is what our business requirement is, because we don't trust other emails. So. Okay. So hopefully that makes it clear. Your scope is to test the requirement, not add any more requirements, but you can certainly clarify it. That there is no question about it. Okay, but this is the clarification that you are given. Okay, so let me move on, unless anybody has any other question on this particular. Okay, so I'm just going slowly to see if you have any questions. Feel free to stop me. Okay, so moving on. I'm not going to stop unless somebody says stop and ask a question. Okay, because it's pretty long document. I want to make sure we get to certain things. Okay.
You can explain to us, like whenever this flowchart comes, right? You just explain, like make sure that we understood in the right way.
Okay, so let's talk about interesting. See what you understood from this flowcharts. Do you have any specific question related to the flowchart?
I understood in my own way, but
yes, let's see what you understood. And I think that will help out other folks as well. Okay.
So once
Go ahead.
Receive the cartridges, so here, yes or no? Like here, I have a question. Like, what does that mean? Like once we receive, it's received.
Sure. So generally, the business process is right. When you are talking about the business
Your voice is breaking for me. It's because of me or you? I don't know.
It's the same for me too. It's breaking down badly.
Yeah. Actually, your voice is breaking for us, I guess.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and explain, Dilip, in that case.
Okay. So when you look into, this is the process diagram, right?
Okay.
So it talks about how the actual business process end-to-end flows using this system, right? So, and then each of the number essentially talks about the various functionality within the system. So the first process is about the receiving cartridges. So everybody understands what the business is for the laser saver.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it for the remanufacturing?
It's essentially like it's kind of taking the used cartridges and reprocess them. Okay.
Okay.
So they are just a collecting front end of it. And then they identify if it's something is still under warranty, they claim the warranty. If it's not under the warranty, then they just essentially process it for the core or for the reuse.
Yeah. So my first question is receive cartridges. Like it's like that. Why there is a yes or no question? Like we are receiving or not? Like that's a process, right?
So the whole thing it's not that, right? If you don't receive the cartridge,
there is not
the
even
process doesn't start, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's just essentially a check to say it's, hey, the whole process gets kicked off only when the cartridge is received. Okay. Whenever I receive a cartridge, then I'm going to go ahead and execute the receiving process. If I did not receive the cartridges, I'm going to continue with the inventory process.
Inventory means like how many cartridges I have already, like
right. Processing the cartridges, which I already have received it previously. So if you look at it, right, there is a arrow down from process 2 to process 3.
Yeah.
Right. So what it just says is that, hey, as long as I keep receiving cartridges, I'm going to execute the receiving process. I'm not going to do it inventory processing right away. I'm going to just essentially process all of the incoming cartridges first. Right. So think about it like it's you walk in with your used cartridges to Staples.
Okay.
Right. At that point, all Staples is doing it is executing the receiving process. They're not processing the cartridges.
Okay.
Right. In this case, think about it. This store is a bigger, right? But people are shipping the cartridges from all over the place. All they're doing is taking it and processing that I have received this cartridge. That's what the first process is going into do.
Okay.
Okay. And if I don't have any more cartridges left it in my shipping dock to process for the receiving, at that point, I'm going to turn around and start the inventory process. That's why I know it's a little confusing, that decision tree, but that's what it's indicating.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I get the cartridges. I'm going to execute the receiving process. So essentially, I'm going to process those. Hey, I've received this cartridge from vendor XYZ. Here are the type of cartridges that I've received. That's all it is. Okay. Then it just goes, it's once I receive it, I'm going to process through inventory process. And each one of those processes are in detail in the subsequent sections.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if I have already, do I need to inventory cartridges? No. Then I'm going to check it. If the shipping is necessary, if not, I'm going to throw it with a cartridge.
Yeah,
Okay.
they will ship out any warranty eligible cartridges. Okay. So that's what it says. Warranty is the cartridge warranty eligible for during the
Right.
inventory process. Okay. Yeah.
So think about it, right? If I got a bad cartridge, it didn't last at the 1,000 pages that it's supposed to print. It lasted only 100 pages. I'm sending it back. This vendor is checking it to see hey, is this a warranty eligible? It's supposed to print 1,000 pages, printed only 100. So I can claim the warranty on this thing and get the money back. Versus if it is not eligible for warranty, that means it's used it, everything is kind of empty cartridges, then I'm just going to go ahead and say that this doesn't require shipping external. We'll just put it in our core so that we can reuse it.
So in inventory cartridges, if it is yes, we are executing the process. If it is no, the cartridges we are not received. Okay.
Yeah, if it's kind of damaged cartridge, I'm not going to inventory it, right?
Okay, but we didn't even receive cartridges in that end, in that session, right? From there, we are going to know and shipping necessary. What decision we are making here in the no side? That's what
in which one? The box number 3?
3 to know.
Oh, okay. So 3 to know, it's essentially, do I need to inventory this cartridge? If it's a damage,
it's a damaged
I'm
one.
not going to keep it, right? I'm going to discard it. But if it's a damaged, then all I'm just going it is just check it, the shipping necessary. It's not, then I'm going to end the process.
So out of the inventory we have, we are going to check the cartridges about whether they are damaged or not.
Yeah. Yep. So think about it. Everything goes in sequential process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Right. And there are some decision made along the way that essentially bypasses certain processes.
Okay.
Okay. So look at that, scroll it down, Herschel. There is a clear description of 1 through 10 or 1 through 8 at the bottom. Okay. Okay.
So
yes, Roger, go ahead. Roger.
yeah, so let's see. Yeah, let's number 2 the diagram. So the diagram. So number 2, they receive the cartridge, okay, and then they start executing the process. Now, you're saying that when they, because this is how I understood, when they start executing the process, is getting all the detail or the information of that cartridge, okay, and then for you, what you're saying, at the same time, they have to check and see if it's damaged, and then they throw it away. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, sorry, I'm in the mute. So you think about everything which is a square box are the actual processes, as Herschel pointed it out. Okay, everything which is a rectangle or rhombus shape, they are the decision makers. Okay, so I execute a process based on outcome of the process. I'm going to execute a decision, and that is going to determine where that particular cartridge will be utilized from the processing point of view, right? No. So if it is not, let's say if a cartridge is not under warranty, there is no point in executing warranty process. Okay, I'm going to bypass the warranty process because I'm not going to do it. So if something is not in the warranty, why would you even bother going it to vendor or manufacturer and says that, hey, I want to claim the warranty on it. You see it? If I have nothing to ship, why would I kind of like it's execute a shipping process? Okay. If I have nothing to inventory, I'm not going to execute inventory process. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, don't think it's sequential flow only. All it just says that if everything comes in a normal way, this is the flow that it happens. But there are decisions made along the way. And then think of it, right? You may have a people who has only capability to process the warranties within the company. I may have, so think about it, manufacturing process, right?
Right.
If I didn't manufacture anything, I'm going to ship it anything out to the stores?
No.
If I don't have anything in warranty, am I going to ship it anything? No. So even though there is a shipping function, and then there is a warranty function, essentially think about it as a sequential pipeline happening it. And then you're moving work from one pipeline to another pipeline. So that's why even when you look at the screen, right, the header, core site header, it talks about the process 2, 4, 6, and 8. Those are the functions.
Dilip, I have a question. I don't know whether I'm putting it in the right way. So as soon as you receive the cartridges, right, you have to make an inventory about it, right?
Okay, so
that's the process.
Deepa, look at the bullet number 1 through 8. Harshal, if you can scroll it down.
Sure.
Okay, so think it this way.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have cartridges that are going to come into the warehouse.
Okay.
Once it comes in the warehouse, I'm going to enter into the receiving process.
Okay.
Okay, based on the condition of cartridges, I'm going to make a decision whether I'm going to inventory this cartridge or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is inventory eligible, so it meets the inventory criteria, then I'm going to individually enter those things into the system to kick off the inventory process. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If once it's inventory for every cartridge, which is an inventory,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look into it to say, is cartridge eligible for warranty?
Yeah, I get those process. I don't have any doubts about that. Like I have only doubt in the initial process because once every cartridge.
So forget, here's what I'm saying. Forget the flow.
Okay.
If you, do you understand 1 through 8 bullet?
Yeah, I get it. Like I get the entire
That's
process.
what it is. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
So I mean, just to clarify on what Dilip said, right? So cartridge will not come in the individual boxes. They might come in a different form, like a big box, which is full of cartridges, right? So that's what it will happen in the receiving. So they will say, okay, who sent us this cartridge box? And was it a box or a skid or whatever it is? And then in the second step, the inventory, they will individually basically enter the cartridge into the system. So first they will collect the box, they will note down the box information, who sent us, how many cartridges, and so forth. In second step, which is the actual inventory process, they will go through each cartridge and mark it, hey, is it warranty eligible? If it's warranty eligible, let's put it down for the third process, which is warranty process. Identifying the defects for that cartridge and why it's basically warranty eligible, right? And from that standpoint, they will basically go through the shipping process based on the process number, warranty based on the warranty process. If they determine, hey, we can send it and claim the warranty, then they will go through the shipping process to actually send back to the manufacturer or remanufacturer and get the money back. Okay, and I think if you look at, if you have gone through the screen, you will probably see the flow as well.
That's like, I have this question. As we receive, we do the execution, right? If I receive, I do one. I do go to 3, 4, 5, 6. I got this process. Why we are going, as we receive the cartridges, we do the process, right? We
You
don't
always have a decisions, right? That goes along with the process, whether you want to move forward with the next process or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So why we are going to the inventory, as we every time when we receive the cartridge, we do the decision and we do go into the process.
Yes, you have to follow the steps, right? I mean, same thing like our flow. You have to have a credit application submission. It goes to the dealer. You have to follow the sequential steps. It's always be like that for the systems.
Okay.
Right. And the system, what you are testing is, hey, does the process works, right, from end to end? So if I submit, if I receive a shipment from somebody, can I ship it based on following the flow? The second part is, can I test the individual processes? So you get deeper into, can I make a market warranty eligible? Can I do certain things, right? So those are the business process type of testing that you will be doing. Along with that, you will have individual process testing, where you have to test out all the different functions on the screen or the business for supporting the business process. Does it do those work as expected? Okay. And those details will be part of the individual screens or individual processes that you will have supporting a screen that supports those business processes. Okay. Any other question from anyone? It's important to understand this part to get a bigger picture of what you need to test from the scoping standpoint.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Nicole Olama. So I understand, if I understand the flow of this diagram, you took an example of staples. The customer may drop the cartridges at Staple, and Staple will collect all the cartridges and send them to ship them to a warehouse who's going to check all the different steps in execution. And then if the cartridges needs to be, they'll send it to the manufacturer.
Yes. Again, Olam, I just gave the example so that you can put together in a picture of what happens when somebody drops the cartridges, right? In this case, people are not dropping at Staples and then Staple is shipping it to the warehouse. In this case, the shipment comes directly to the warehouse where they're doing the initial receiving process.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they will look at, so think about it, right? If I have one guy in the receiving dock, right? All he's going to do it is he's going to keep taking all of the packets that has received it and essentially enter in the systems. When there is no more packet which is received it, then it's going to turn around and starting the inventory process. Okay. And then when he starts the inventory process, at that time, he's going to look at it. Is the package that I received is worth inventorying or not? If it is fully damaged, he's thinking it's not even worth it. I'm going to just throw it. If it is proper package, then I'm going to start inventorying it. And then down the road, when people look at inventory and they're going to determine, hey, is this cartridge is still under warranty? If it is under warranty, they're going to send it to the manufacturer and claim the warranty amount.
Okay.
If it is not under warranty, they're going to say it's okay. Now this can just go reuse it and go for a remanufacture.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So moving on. So I think this is where the different module starts. 6.2 homepage. Okay. I'm just gonna move on unless you guys stop me here.
So as you suggested, F25 and F26 are the same, right? In the video, that's what you suggested, right?
F25 and 26.
If you
Tell me
scroll
the
down,
module name.
this, if you scroll down, this, yeah.
This is part of the one module. So this becomes a
Yeah.
module, the complete functionality, right? Because
This
homepage
here
history.
is F26, right? And here F25, so they are the same, correct?
F25 and 26.
Here.
That was my question regarding the two, the same processes with the
If you
same
go
name
up little
regarding
bit,
the warranty.
You
Go to the index,
the-
see it if it is, I want to just see it, what is F25, 26.
It's lower, I think it was 612 or 615 something.
25, 26, right? This is what you are referring to.
I think they're saying, Herschel, F25 and F26 is same. Let's just go to the index where there is a category of all of the functions.
who it is
Herschel, your bandwidth is an issue today, looks like it. That's why your screen is not
Yes.
coming sharper either.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
give me a second.
Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay. So F25 is a warranty processing list, and F26 is a warranty processing detail, right? So the way the whole structure is set it up, when you look at it, right, there are multiple modules collectively finishing a one particular functionality. So like it's when you look at the warranty information, right, there is a information and then there is a shipping list, F4 and F5. When you look at the inventory, right, the 6667 is inventory together. Okay. So Herschel, I think what they're talking about in the parentheses, the homepage history, and then 615, which is warranty processing detail, they both are talked about the same function, F26.
Oh, this guy and this one.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
We just
Okay.
need to look through it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one should be something else.
Right.
The 615.
Makes sense.
Okay.
It's just a typo probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Naming.
Yeah, so ignore that function in there. Okay.
Ignore the function for the home page.
Well, as we go through the document, we'll talk through it. Ignore the parentheses F25 for
They
each
are
one of
not
them.
the same, but it will need the clarification just because
They're not the same, looks like.
they are not the same, but they have, it's just like so confusing because it has like two different windows with two different navigations.
Yeah, we
But
just
when
need to change one of them.
Yes, yes.
We just need to correct the numbering. That's all.
Yeah, as we go through it, we'll correct it. Let's review it, right? So this one is homepage history. Is there any question in terms of it? This is something somebody will look into it as soon as they log in, what gets displayed and what is the history of information that was displayed. Then the next aspect is this is the receiving flow. Okay. So think about it. When I receive a shipment, what process I go through it. So I go through this process 1 through 7, and then I end, right?
So now you are blowing out those individual boxes, 4 different boxes you had into its own process.
Yeah. So if you look at it, right, the original and the big flow that we were looking earlier, there was a second was like its shipment receiving process. This is what this is. The box number 2 is blown up into the detail.
I have question on 5 on this page. 5.
Okay.
Shipment exists, so what does that mean? Shipment already exists. So
Oh, Harshil's okay.
Let me pull up the screen here so it makes it more clear.
Yeah.
It says process another, right? Done, cancel, and so forth. Right? So they might send multiple boxes in one shipment as well, right? So that is where they will say shipment already exists. So process basically another one from the same customer.
So does that arise when I'm not able to process all the boxes on the same time?
No. Remember, let's say if I got a big shipment with 5 boxes, the shipment number on that particular shipment will be the same. But I'm going to process one box at a time to say, hey, the box 1 has this many cartridges, box 2 has this many, box 3 has this many.
So for the second box, then I'm going to use
yeah, because I'm not entering new shipment number. I'm saying this number exists already.
So I pull it from the list then.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's where you need to check the rules. What happens when you are doing process another versus completely brand new box, right? That's where you need to look at the rules. And rules are defined in the business rules section as well as event section, right? So this document is organized differently. Okay. So what happens here, basically, when you click certain things, right?
So when you look at this, Herschel, if you can keep it for a moment, right? So the function AO2, right? What says that clicking on this process another button saves the current data for the system and sets user up to receive another shipment, right? So as long as I don't hit the process another one, I'm keep adding it to the same shipment. When I click on the process another, now I'm ready to pick up a new shipment and process it. Okay. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So you need to look at the business rules, event section. Events are very important because that's more the business process type of thing, what really happens. And then look at the individual screen, this field layouts, basically what this field is supposed to do. Like here in this case, box button.
Yeah.
What it says is this button changes the color when it's selected. So as a QA standpoint, you need to come up with a scenario to test out all different functionality, what is mentioned in the for that particular module here. Okay.
So as Harshal said, right? So think of this as a 3-layer thing for every screen. They've identified what each of the box means. What are the type of information is required in it? What is the rule, whether it's required, not required? Is there any mask that specifically you're applying on it? Mask is, remember, like it's going back to the first sections where there's a phone number mask, there is an address, there is email, all of those things. Which one of those things needs to be applied?
Here, what does a mask mean here?
It's the rules, right? Remember, like phone number mask.
Okay. And
email
that
address.
What is can you go that screen, customer 1 or 3?
Not hang on a second. We'll get to that. But what is your question? I mean, is it your question related to the mask or?
No, it's not related to mask.
Okay.
So you have all the elements. That's the first layer for every screen. Second layer is there will be some buttons. What happens when somebody clicks on that button? So that means what is the actions are happening.
Okay.
And the third section is there any business rules that you need to apply? So there are 3 different sections that you're going to see it for everything, right? So in this case, there is no business rules. And when I click on something, the events happen, which is your actions A through A01 through A04.
Okay.
And it's telling you on which element. So the E01 element, when I click on it, what happens? When I click on E06, what happens, right? And this is where it also says, when I click on cancel button, it tells you the system navigates to the home page, which is the function 01.
Okay.
Okay. When I click on done button, the same thing, it saves the data and goes to the home page.
Okay.
Right. So look at that. A03 and A04 will end up in the same screen once it's finished, but one does not process any data. The other one saves the data and then takes you there. So all of those scenarios that you need to start thinking around it on a given screen.
Okay, thank
Gotcha.
you.
All right.
One
Now,
question on page 16. So
okay.
here the quantity is a text box and there is no masking here. So to me, it doesn't make sense because when you look at the quantity, it's a number, right? So if I key in ABCD, there is no mask here. At least it should be numeric mask or something, right? So it's not there. So I have a question about the mask here.
Okay, let's change it to number. How about that? We provide you clarification, update the requirement, change it to number.
So then numeric mask will be applied then about the
Well,
mask.
it's a number.
It's a number. You don't have to
right?
apply mask, right? It accepts only the number.
Okay. What about the quantity? So, I mean, what about the length? So
If it's a number, there's no length, right? It's any positive number that you enter will be there.
okay. Okay.
Yep. Now you could have specified size of 5 or something. Okay, we can do that. 5 here, right? Number and 5, so you can enter up to 5 digits basically.
Okay.
Okay, so you can just update that. All right. Any other question on this requirement or the module? Okay, any question on this module?
I have the question on the buttons on the
Okay.
Question.
15 page, 16 page 16.
What's your question though?
So if all these three skid, case and box are these are non-required buttons, right? So those are required. No, if you go there, yeah.
Required says false. Required says false. Required says false.
So can I move on without selecting any of these?
That's what it says in the requirement.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense, right? Like, so is there any other kind of package type? That means there should be another kind of package type, right?
Let's see if they have a rule that one of them is required. If not, then they are missing a rule here, right? One of the box, one of the button is required. That's what we are saying, right? So one of the button.
None of them are required, I think.
No, but
No,
the rule.
What Harshal is saying is he's saying that like it's a rule is missing. So as a business user, he's adding the rule that at least one and only one of them needs to be selected.
Yeah,
as a
one
required.
of them is required. Yep.
So individually, each one of them is not required. But when I look at the set of 3, at least one of them needs to be clicked.
So if I select one, the other 2 should be.
Other 2 should be deselected. And that's what it says, right? When you look at the E04, Harshal,
right.
You scroll up, right? It says that the button called when it's selected, it will stay selected until a different package type button is selected. Right? So I could click on a skid and says, no, but this is a case. So as soon as I click on case, it will unselect the skid. And the rule that he's adding it is that you have to select one of them as a requirement. Does that provide the clarity, Rohini?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
So think around it, like it's what you guys are doing. It is in effort. It's doing a 3C and a T. You're identifying, is the requirement complete? In those cases, the requirement was there, but it was not complete till you add that business rule.
Okay.
Right. So think about it, right? Now the pattern repeats it. Whatever you did in the receiving, now the same say it's a cartridge inventory. So if I have to blow up that number 4 in the box, this is the entire big process, right? And then you will see a lot of information from here maps to the screen that is kind of following it up. Right? It gives you a description of how everything happens. And then you look into it, the screen, it just says that, hey, this is how I'm going to process it.
Can you scroll please to the page 20 again?
Okay.
In this picture, yes, there's like on a lower right bottom, there is two different, to the same 15 and 16 steps.
Okay.
Warranty eligible, why do we have two in this case?
So there are two parts. Yeah, go ahead, William.
Yeah. So think around it, how I'm reaching it to box 14 versus how I'm reaching to box 16. Okay. So when I look at it, it talks it through whether, depending on a weight, if the weight is normal, but if the cartridge is damaged, then I'm checking, is it warranty eligible or not? If the weight is heavy, that means there is some toner or ink is left in it. And is it warranty eligible? Then I'm processing
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. But if you will take a look at the pointer 14, there's two lines that are going out of it and 3, right? 3. One is yes, but there's 2 no's. There's one that goes down to 15.
Hang on. No, there's only 2 going out, yes and no. The no is coming in from 15 to 14.
Yeah, but if you will see at the top, there's another line that goes with no, and it goes back to 20.
Right. So from a box, you're going to have only 2 outputs, either yes or no. But there are 2 different ways the people can get into it. Something was not warranty eligible, but it was damaged. Okay. And then they're checking it as like, it's, hey, it was a damage, but is it because it was damaged in the shipment? Am I still eligible? Right. So what it's doing it is, there are 2 criteria for becoming a warranty eligible. One is the cartridge is physically damaged, or cartridge still has an ink, but it is not working. Yep. Remember the example I gave you? The cartridge is supposed to print 1,000 pages. It printed 100 pages and now it's not printing it. Then it's based on a weight, there is an ink, but it is not kind of full use to 1,000 pages. That's one scenario. The other scenario is cartridge is damaged. It's, hey, when it came in a shipment, one of the box or one of the part was broken. Therefore, I can't just put it into the printer. And I'm checking it based on that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So there are multiple conditions that may trigger it to the same eligibility. And it's just checking those conditions.
And there was I'm sorry, I was just going through my notes, and it says in the box for the action number 12 in the same schematic, it says choose remanufacturer. It says like on the other process that goes after that or before that, I don't remember exactly. It says that you can choose from the drop down list, but it does not have any action about the adding the new remanufacturer if it does not exist in that drop down menu.
That's where the admin module comes in. So you're not adding it from here, you're adding it into the process through the administrative functionality.
So it was like in the very end of the processes. Yep. With the, okay.
That's where, like, it's when you look at it, right? The document, there are certain core functionality, those 4 functions, right? Receiving, inventory processing, warranty processing, and shipment. But after that, there is a whole bunch of admin modules, yes, which essentially enables you to set up the data. And that's why it's important for you in this kind of document when you get it is to understand everything. It says how the things are set up in the system and how the things are processed through the transactional point of view.
So I have a question. There is a after the this thing, there is a called shipment complete. Okay, that process is not included in the workflow. There should be a process about it, right? If the shipment is complete, they didn't mention it in the workflow, but it is in the
So understand the shipment complete is not from me shipping it out. It's the shipment that I receive it from the front, right? So look at this. This is an inventory processing system, right? What Herschel is showing. Let's say I received a box of 12 cartridges.
Okay.
I'm processing one at a time. And at some point, I'm going to say, I'm done with processing all 12 of them. That's when I'm going to click a shipment complete. All it indicates that there is no more left in this one. So I need to pick the next shipment and then start processing.
Yeah, I get it. It should be included in the, like if it's completed, I have to go back to the new thing, like there should be another thing, right?
Where?
In the inventory flow, workflow. If everything completed from one shipment, I have to go to the new shipment.
They're not going to show all the details here.
This is just a high level flow.
Okay. Okay.
Right. All it just says, look at this. Scroll up, Herschel. All it just says, select a shipment. Okay.
Okay.
I may process from the same shipment all the cartridges in sequential order, or I may process some of that, then start picking the next shipment, and then go back to the finishing the other box because it might have been stacked a different way.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So don't think it linearly.
Okay.
Think around it as, hey, I'm done with my entire box. That was that, and there was only one box in the shipment. But if there were 5 boxes and one of the box was buried underneath it, I'm not going to move all the boxes to get that one box out so that I can finish processing that shipment.
Okay.
I can start doing 2 shipments in parallel.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question with the weight here and the formula of the weight. The box turning red also. So here, I choose all those manufacturer, all those things, right? When I start putting the weight, that's the key. I can key in the weight, right? In grams.
You can either key in or you can system calculates as well. System can if there is a weight scale attached with the computer, then it will read it from the scale.
So I have question with the triggering red. So in the admin module, there is a empty cartridge weighs these many grams and full should be these many grams, depending upon the type of the cartridge or the manufacturer. All those are there, right?
Yep.
The formula where the red color triggers, right? It says CW assigned to something. If you could explain me that formula, because there is no way that I see the full weight is being used in that triggering event. So what is the significance of full weight?
So remember, the cartridges are manufactured in a standard way, basically. So every cartridge or every model, it has a standard full weight and empty weight. Okay, so when the manufacturer manufactures a cartridge, it will also always make it same. All the cartridges, no matter what cartridge you will look at it from the same model number, they will exactly have same full weight and empty weight. What is considered empty and what is considered full. So they are using that to define on the cartridge module. Hey, for cartridge from this manufacturer with this model number, this should be the full weight, this should be the empty weight. Okay. Now, when it comes to the actual cartridge, when they are processing on the inventory module, so they are comparing against the empty and full weight, and they are calculating, hey, is this cartridge warranty eligible based on the emptiness of the cartridge, and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's what the formula supposed to indicate. So I'm just trying to go to the formula here. See if I can find it quickly. Do you have page number? What page number is the formula?
What page number it is? I don't.
It should be here.
33. 33.
33. Okay, so I'm on 32. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So like that, right? So here, what it's just saying is that there is an empty weight, and then there is always a % tolerance, right? So in any weight scales, right? So there's going to be different variations on the tolerance. So I may have a 5% tolerance, right? Let's say it's 100 gram is the empty weight, okay? And then the full weight is, let's say, 200 gram. And if I say my % tolerance is 5%, so I can say its empty weight is essentially, let's say it's 100 gram, right? Plus % tolerance, it's 5% on empty weight, right? So it will just essentially, as long as cartridge weight is greater than 105 gram, then it will say it's a warranty eligible. Okay. If it is, the cartridge weight is, let's say 150 gram, is that greater than 105 gram? Yes, then it's an eligible. Okay. So in any process, right, there is always going to be tolerance because two scales are not always exact same scales. So they say it's what is the tolerance that's allowed for that. Does that answer your question, Rohini?
Yes, it all depends on the percentage of tolerance and the empty weight.
Right. So like it's when they put it, they just say, hey, what is the tolerance I'm going to permit for this cartridge? Is it within 5%, within 2%? What exactly I'm going to permit?
So this full weight is used for the oversize of the cartridge because there is another option, right?
So the full weight, what indicates it is when cartridge is completely full, what is the weight, right? Now, when you receive the cartridge, it's going to potentially may have a full weight, or it may be empty, or it may be somewhere between full and empty, right? So it looks at it, what is the current cartridge weight and where it falls within the scale of that full and empty. And based on that, it is making a decision whether this is eligible or not. If the cartridge is almost empty, then the vendor is going to say, hey, yeah, you know what? The tolerance was plus minus 5%. So yeah, it was supposed to print 1,000 pages, but it is okay if it prints 950 pages.
Yep.
Right? Because that's a 5% tolerance.
Okay. Does that clarify for you, Rohini? And I guess other folks might have some similar question, right? Okay. So the color changes based on whether it's a warranty eligible or not. So there are quite a busy screen.
Herschel, you're getting it off again. So what he's trying to,
and you have quite a few.
Yeah, so what Herschel is pointing it out is think around, this is a fairly busy screen. It is a lot of business rules and a lot of business functionality embedded into it. Different paths, you need to think around all of those paths, right? So think around it like it's, hey, from a different vendor and customer, how does that list gets populated all the way to based on the weight, whether it's eligible or not, different rule, right? Whether it's a damaged or not, based on that, there are rules. Then there is a whole bunch of buttons at the bottom that Herschel is pointing it out, which talks about what happens when I try to get identical versus different or versus from start. How does the behavior of the screen and the data changes when I reset versus set the default? What does it mean? Okay. And if you scroll up, Herschel, a little bit, there are some additional dots, and then there is a cancel and done at the top, right? How does all of those functionality and the business rules come into play together to validate that this screen or this shipment receiving or inventory cartridging is working as expected. Okay. So don't think there is a linear flow here. There is a multiple trees that you need to build it in order to test this particular functionality.
I have a question on the warranty ID on this page.
Mm-hmm.
So it says that the warranty ID generated is a 10-character alphanumeric string.
Mm-hmm.
So does it mean that the warranty ID has to be a 10 number, or it can range anywhere from 1 to 10? Because I know the warranty ID mentioned here is...
It's typically, so look at the rule, right? What does rule say? It's 10 characters, or it says up to 10 characters. So if it says 10 character, it's 10 characters. If it says up to 10 characters, that means it could be anywhere from 1 to 10.
Okay, so the warranty ID in this picture, then it should have been a 10 character. Correct?
Yeah, this is an illustrative, right? So think about it. This is a mock-up screen.
It's not a real screen.
Okay.
Somebody drew that up to communicate with the business. This is how it will look. Now, when you actually implement the system, it might look different, but it should have similar functionality.
And also, when they say that the cartridge weight indicates that it is out of compliance, then the cartridge is automatically flagged as warranty eligible. So in this case, in the flow chart, when they mention that the cartridge is heavy, it should automatically be flagged as a warranty eligible, correct?
Yeah, so to remember, that's where the full weight comes in, right? The full weight of cartridges in this example, right, supposed to be 135 grams. But if your cartridge weighs 190 grams,
okay, okay.
It by default, it just flags that, hey, something is wrong with the cartridge. It's completely full.
That's correct.
Okay, move on.
So I have a question on page 35. Page 35.
Okay. Go ahead.
So it's ID 823. It says code thumbnail on click. But where is that a button on the inventory page? I can't see it there. 823 code thumbnail.
Okay, so it goes 822.01.
So I think this is what it's talking about. Is it what you are referring to, right? Because they need to identify the cartridge, and that's the whole reason they have show pictures as well, so that they can just match it up with what type of cartridge it is.
Yeah, and all it just says like the thumbnails are displayed at the bottom. And when you click on that thumbnail, it just scales up to a big picture so they can see it, compare, oh, it is this versus that.
Right.
Okay, so code thumbnail is nothing but the show picture button?
Yes.
The pictures, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Inside that, remember those cartridge 2, toner 233, ink 65, those are the core thumbnails that is displayed within that window, that when you click on it, that's when it displays.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And then the next one is the warranty. Similar pattern here, right? So that you can start seeing a pattern emerging. takes that warranty workflow, shows the detail, describes what each of the 10 steps means, and then they're followed by a screen that shows you how you're going to process the warranty.
Actually, I have a picture on the workflow over here.
Okay. Harshal, if you can scroll up a little bit.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Mhm.
So in this, it says give credit to customer. So from what my understanding is, once we ship the cartridges off in order to get the warranty, the money or what the manufacturer they give, is that something that we keep, or it doesn't go to the customer? So in this case, it could be the vendor or the customer that we got the cartridge from.
Yeah. So think about it in a big company. The way it happens is they don't go individually to each one of the manufacturer to buy the cartridges, right? So let's take an example of Chase, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have probably a contract with some warehousing company. It says that you're going to provide us all the cartridges, and then you're going to recycle all the empty cartridges for us.
Okay.
Okay. So this warehouse, like let's say Core Insight, may have so many customers like that. So they're processing it, right? And as a customer, they said, hey, you send me and charge me for this cartridge, but it didn't work as I expected, so I should get some credit. So all they're just saying is we'll process for you, we'll get the credit back from the manufacturer, and then we'll apply that credit back to you.
Okay.
Right. So that's what it is, giving credit to the customers. Or it may be just like it's, hey, we will supply you 50 cartridges and 3 of them were not working, so we'll give you credit for those 3.
And in this case, in number 7, the credit from the vendor would be the company that we send the cartridge to. Would that be?
Yeah. So like it's, let's say so think about it, right? I'm a Core Insight business owner, right? Mm-hmm. And then like it's, I've made a deal with, let's say, Chase, and says, we'll supply you cartridges. And they said, okay, give me 50 HP cartridges. Mm-hmm. 3 of them comes out to be bad. So I'm going to send back to HP and says, give me my money back because I bought it from you. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm going to get the credit from the vendor, but at the same time, I have to give credit back to Chase and say, okay, I supplied you 3 bad ones, so I'm going to give you money back for that. So that's the process at the top, is to giving back to the customers. And the 7 and 8 is I'm getting my money back from the manufacturer or whoever was the vendor who provided me those cartridges.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any question on this module here?
Yeah, on this one, it says categories list and defect list. So is that's the first. I see the list here. Would there be a button? Clicking on that, is it going to highlight these ones? Is that what it means?
So no, read the description, right? So look at the current selected problem description and that. So when you scroll it down in the page elements, right, it says what action happens at. Okay. When a button is selected from a categories list, what will happen? Okay. Change color when they are selected, both in a categories list and a defect list.
So those are the 2 lists on the side. Is that what?
Yep. That's a categories. The first one is categories list, and the other one is defect list. So when you look at it, right? So categories is, I have a drum problems. Well, what kind of drum problems do you have? There are 2 defects on that. It's a mock-up screen, right? So think it that way.
Selecting one of these will trigger that here in the current selector problems. Got it.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, once you select the defect, it will update the currently selected problem.
Right. So think around here, right? What scenario you have to do it? If I selected something and it populated the current selected problem. And what if I deselect that and select something else? Does my current selected problem text gets changed? Right?
So those are some of the negative scenarios, or basically scenarios that you should test as a QA. Okay. Any other question? If not, I'll move on. Okay.
So just a quick question. On it, when you say process as core, it just goes back to the inventory, correct?
That is correct. So
Yeah, it goes to core inventory. So essentially, I'm not going to send it to the manufacturer back to claim the warranty, but it is an empty cartridge that I can, like, it's refill the ink and resend it as a remanufactured cartridge.
Okay.
Right, so it goes into my inventory that, okay, now clear it up. We have this many empty cartridges that we can remanufacture.
Okay.
okay. Moving on to the warranty shipping list.
Okay. So this one is just everything that I'm clicked and flagged as a warranty eligible. I'm going to just like it's prepare it so that I can ship them. Right. For example, like it's if I have same cartridges going to HP, right? I can bundle off all of them together into one shipping list and send it out. Right. So when you look at it, there are two vendors. There are a whole bunch of vendors that I can do it, and I can figure it out. What is the warranty ID and when can I ship them?
So in this case, when you have the tracking number, since I'm still in the process of making a shipping box, you can say, the tracking number in this case, if I haven't shipped already, what is the tracking number then?
So remember, like, there are two different types of tracking numbers you can have potentially. Is the shipping number, which is the tracking number, and RA number is your return authorization number. So if you buy something from Amazon, right, and you're sending it back, right, you can initiate the return process. It'll give you a barcode.
Right.
You haven't shipped it yet,
Okay.
but you have a barcode. And then when you ship it, they will give you another barcode.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have two barcodes. One is the return authorization, which says that, hey, this is the item I'm returning it, and here is the shipment through which I returned it.
Okay. But in this case, when you say the tracking numbers, does it already indicate that?
Let's look at the requirement, right? What does tracking number say, sir? Okay. Displays the shipment tracking number for each record, right? So what I'm going to ship it to it versus warranty at RA column. Look at that. Scroll, Herschel, 1 minute. So RA number shows the return authorization number, right? Those two are separate. And the warranty ID number is essentially what is the ID number, warranty ID that I generated for that record. There are three things, right? I may ship multiple things into one shipping. So that's where my tracking number comes in. But each cartridge has its own warranty ID. And then potentially I can have multiple cartridges into one return authorization number.
Okay.
Right. So this gives the flexibility that I could go it granularly all the way to one vendor, all the way to one vendor multiple shipping, or one cartridge shipped to one vendor for one item, time only.
Okay.
Now it's an important as you understand this process, right? How does that list gets populated from which you are able to select it? So when you're generating the test data, you need to think around what all I need to do it before in the system in order for me to reach to a point where I can now test this functionality. All right. So for example, the shipping details. I can't generate those shipping details unless I have warranty information available. Make sense?
Okay.
Same process, same thing, right? The screen, 3 layers, what elements, what buttons, what business rules, and when you click on certain buttons, what are the actions happen? Right. So here are the events. When I click on it, save button, what happens? When I click on the cancel button, when I click on select button, what happens? And then what is the actual outlay of that shipping document looks like? Then you get into the, so going back to, right? So I think it was F25 or F26 was duplicate.
Well, it's not a duplicate, but it's correct, like related to the warranty processing, but it's just a little bit off, like the way the mock-up screens and the windows they look. So it's just like, could you please clarify, like what exactly this is about, like what we are looking like? It says about the list, and it does have an explanation, but as per like the operational part, like in general, like in the whole process, can you just like divide what is representing one window and what is another one?
Sorry, Mika, I didn't understand your question. When you say,
just to clarify, what does, like, you know, there's like a warranty processing list and you have the details in 26. What is the list? Like, you know, because it does specify and it explains what each button does, but it does not really explain what's that list is.
okay. So how should we do that? Right, that the list at the bottom, items to ship, is the list.
So those are just like those items that are eligible for shipping, and
right.
they come under warranty. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So this is the processing list. Here it's at the bottom, right? Those 4 items are the items which are ready to be processed for the warranty.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then you have an ability to filter it by the criteria to see what you see in the list. And here's one of the algorithms. When you say filter, based on that, what all it allows you to do it. Okay.
It's a fairly big module. So we will see how much you can really test. Okay, so we'll carve out that work scope for your testing or quality assurance standpoint. Okay, and this is inventory bug module. We will skip this, but it's essentially it's a bulk loading certain things. They have a screen that allows them to bulk load certain similar cartridges information.
So now, Harshal stuff in there. So
yeah,
now you think around it, right? So the admin functionality, remember how you were seeing it like it's in certain screen, you have a customer and vendor list information gets populated. Well, how does it get into system? I think Rohini, it was you who asked a question, is that no way for me to define a new customer? here is how you define a new customer. And then that goes into that list whenever it needs to be displayed. Okay, and then you can select it whether somebody's an active customer or not, similar to our flow where we say this is an active user or not. Same way, right? And what is the type, whether it's an individual customer or it's a vendor.
So you will see the pattern, the search or filter capability. Then you have list based on that filter. And then you will have detailed screens where you can actually enter new information or update existing ones. Okay, so that's a very common pattern in the for any system, similar to what we had for our flow.
Right, so this is when I'm defining a new customer. Here are all the details I need to provide it. Right, this is where you have all those masks that you need to apply it, like it's whether it's a phone number or for email address and so on.
So
Now
could
I
you-
can easily see 50 plus test cases on this particular screen or module. Okay, that's how this screen gets complex, basically.
So could you tell me who the users are in this on the screen?
Are the number of users, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's look at that. What does that screen says it, right? That's what it should be. It should
So
define.
yeah, so this particular system has it's a more like a they allow the customer users to basically access the certain portion of the system as well. Okay, so that is not just some of the receivers, seepers, and so forth. So that's where some of these users will see for the vendors and customers. Okay, that's the reason they have a number of users 5 over there.
So number of users would be somebody like me who is accessing that. Would that?
No, because you
Yeah,
are not
so-
tied to customer, but yes, so something similar who works for that customer and vendors.
Yeah, look at the E08 field, right? So the example that I gave you earlier, right? Let's say I kind of make a contract with Chase to say it's, hey, we'll process it. Then I give certain number of users within Chase to access my system so they can see it, where their inventory or certain fields or certain passes of information, and I'll set whatever access, what they can see and what they cannot see it. Right, so that's it. Just say it's number of users field. It's like it's, hey, how many users I'm going to allow Chase to have it? It's a 5 users. And then here is the list. And if you see it, there is a box below it which says the users. So it says who are the 5 users from Chase.
Okay.
Right, it's fairly typical practice in a lot of not just the hardware, but even on the vendor. Right, when you have a large enterprise account, not everybody can be admin, right? There is only certain people who will be from that company could do an admin functionality, and then they can go and see who all can do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Here on page 70, I have a question with the type customer, wholesaler, and manufacturer all checked at the same time. So I don't quite understand this.
So this is remember, this is a mock-up screen. So when they are just looking at it, right? I mean, designing the screen. So it may not be the rule. So you always go by the rules. Okay, so sometimes the mock-up screens are not that clear why they have checked, but you always look at the rules and say what is allowed to check basically for a customer or vendor.
Right, so if you go into type, it'll tell you, right? That's where you look into the elements.
Yeah, mock-up screens, you don't rely on the rules to basically for the mock-up screens. It gives you picture how it's supposed to look, the screen wise. That's all. You shouldn't be basing any of your testing based on the mock-up screen.
Got it.
Okay, because all this is dummy data, like company 1, company 2, something like that. It's not real information.
Yeah.
Okay. Any question? Okay, so let's take a look at it couple of more things. I think one more module, I think, Dilip, we can take a look at it and then we can wrap up on this particular review part.
So question, admin is the beginning part for this process, right? He will be creating the vendors, like from admin login, we'll be creating a vendor customer.
Okay. So this one is a little bit different, Deepa.
Okay.
You don't want to think admin is just one person, right? What it just says that, what are the administrative tasks I can perform in the system?
Okay.
Versus what are the receiving tasks and that, right? I could have multiple people, and security here, it's a little bit different. So when you look at through that security, it'll tell you, it's essentially, I identify users, and then I flag it what all this user can do it in the system. They may be able to do certain admin pieces and warranty only. It's
So
not
it's
like a
not-
super user.
It's not just like a role that is assigned, but it's actual just a functionality of different users
Precisely.
with different access.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the system is different than the RFlow. RFlow was everything was role based. This one is everything is based on functions and what all functions I can access.
Okay. So who will be the person who is like adding new customers, vendors?
So
Anybody
look at that,
you can,
right?
yeah.
So anybody who has that role that is enabled to do that, right? So look at the security, and then in security, while I'm creating an account, I can flag it and says this person can do this, this, and this function.
Okay.
So if I have a user ID which says that it can do an admin functions of adding a new customers, I'll be able to do it.
Okay. If I added a customer, then the customer can do some functions, like, or like a vendor, I should say.
When you say vendor, you lost me there.
Oh, sorry, vendor. Whoever is able to, update the inventory.
No, it's again, it's a user. Don't confuse the user and the vendors.
Oh, yeah. So he'll be the user.
Whoever is the user has that ability, can perform that functions.
Okay.
Remember what we said, like it's as a chase, I may just say you have 5 accounts that can perform certain functionality in my system. How I'm going to tell you what all they can do it is when I'm creating those accounts, I'll set their security that you can access creating a cartridge and you can access inventory processing. That's all you can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Could you give us an example of manufacturer, vendor? User is the company, employee of oversight, right?
Okay, so manufacturer, it's simple, right? HP, Brother, whoever manufactures those cartridges. Vendor is the people who could potentially sell that cartridge, or I can buy a cartridge from. Okay. Wholesalers is, there may be somebody like CDW, right? I'm pretty sure you must have seen a whole bunch of ad either on the internet or TV, which is essentially, they are providing it a services, office services, and they can say, hey, we can sell you HP, Brother, and Canon cartridges. So that's a wholesaler. They buy in bulk, they can give you in the bulk. Customers are people like Chase or individual customers like you and me who can buy cartridges or can send cartridges back to them.
And then there is one other term like remanufacture. Is that something like cartridge world where you can?
So remanufacture is, hey, I got an original HP cartridge, but I'm not like selling the original HP cartridge. I'm taking that cartridges back and refilling the ink and selling it. So it's a remanufacture. Right. So think of it reseller, similar way remanufacturer.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
So,
Yes.
so as an Alphron, the site admin has his whole use. He can use all the whatever the pages he can use. So here, as you given as an example as staples can use the whole functionality in this.
Again, the example I gave you staple was to get you understanding of what kind of business they do it. Don't take an example as staple as the person who is doing all these things. Okay. All it meant is when you look at it, have you looked at the security module on this one?
So roles and users module, right? That those are the two things part of the security.
Right. So there is no such thing called a super user here.
Okay.
Right. It's every user has ability based on their roles and based on the functions that they should be allowed to access, they will be flagged.
Okay.
I could decide that there is a user who has access to all the functionality. Therefore, they can be super user, right? But I can just say it's majority of user have only this or that functionality.
Okay. Modules will follow similar pattern.
Okay. Same thing
So
is
you
how
will
do
have
I
a
define
search
it? Yeah.
basically capability or filter capability. How do I define those cartridges? So any question on this type of modules, specifically the cartridge list or anything else?
And you're going to follow the similar pattern, right? You have a list, and then when you look into the list, you're going to be able to filter, or when you create a new, it will just take you another screen where you can provide all the details for that particular cartridge and save it. Right. So when I click on a new, it'll come to the screen. It'll just say, this cartridge is so-and-so, what all printer model this cartridge can be used for, right? So as you can see it, there may be an HP cartridge, and that cartridge goes into 5 different printer models, right? This is where you define it. Remember, we just say it is empty and full. And remember, we did that PT, which is the tolerance amount. That is just says percentage out of compliance. So here, if I put a 5% and an empty weight and a full weight, so that's what it's used into calculation on the other screen to determine whether it's a warranty eligible or not based on a red or green colors.
So on this screen, usually once you pick a manufacturer, then the manufacturer number gets displayed based on the numbers associated with that particular manufacturer.
No. So remember, I may have an HP cartridge as a manufacturer, but each cartridge is going to have a different model number or manufacturer number, right? So let me give you a similar example, right? Let's say you go buy a fridge from an LG.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so manufactured LG, but LG produces 10 different fridge.
Right.
Each will have different manufacturer number.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Same way, HP produces probably like 500 cartridges. So which HP cartridge you talk about? What is the manufacturer number that they laid out?
Okay.
Okay, and then they may also have a specific part number that they call it, hey, this is the model and this is the part number.
Okay.
In which printer it can be used for, because I can't use the same cartridge for all the printers, HP printers.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. So any other question on this admin screens or admin modules? I think it follows the same pattern. Let's come back to the, if you don't have any question, any other question on the requirements now, or laser saver, understanding of how laser saver is supposed to work and what is that you, any clarification that you need from the functionality standpoint.
On some screens, I'm not sure about this views, like it says bottom view, like how do we get to those? What?
It is perfectly fine. You don't have, if it's not, detail is not given to you. Like here, bottom view, just a test data, right? Test information, mocked up data. And all it says is bottom view. This is general information related to the cartridge. So it's a mocked up data, right? This is how it's supposed to look basically on the screen. Now, if they have another screen here, let me quickly take a look here related to the cartridge. They probably don't have it, right?
Yes.
But yeah, for this one.
So typically a lot of times, right, when you just say, hey, you know what, like I'm going to take the picture of this cartridge from 3 or 4 different angles,
right,
and add each one of them, right? Bottom view, the front view, how the cartridge looks at from the top, right?
Yep.
Just by looking at it, just one set of view, you may not be able to clearly distinguish one cartridge from the other, right? So having multiple views enables whoever is kind of categorizing, hey, what kind of cartridge is this? They can look through multiple views to say, oh yeah, it is this one, or no, it's not this one, but it's this.
Got it, thank you.
So we know that the admin has a lot of modules associated with it.
Okay.
So to access those, you just hover on admin and then it should show up as a pop-up button. Is that correct?
Again, you're assuming it, right? All I'm just saying is that when you click on admin, you may have a lot of functionality which says, what do you want to do? Do you want to like it, create a new customers, or do like it's, think about it, right? So when in our flow, right, when you have manage users, right, that was one functionality. Then there was a manage dealers was another functionality, right? They both are like, it's kind of admin functionality. Same way here, when you click on admin, you will probably get a whole bunch of options and says, what do you want to manage?
Okay.
Right? And things that you can manage are all those lists that has been kind of talked about.
Because in order to test some admin functionality, and if we need to go to a particular page, so for that test cases, when you write down, is that the way we access?
Well, you can assume, right? So when I click it, so Herschel, if you can keep it here at the admin screen a little bit up, scroll up a little bit. So I could click on admin, and there may be another menu which pops up as a bottom with 6, 7 choices, and I can select one of those choices, and it'll take it the user detail.
Okay.
Right. So again, while you're writing it, you don't know how the system is going to be built. These are mockups, right?
Right.
You can just say, hey, from an admin ops menu, select user detail option.
Okay.
You're not sharing it how that will be. Is it a separate screen, or is it just a drop down from the menu?
Okay.
Yeah, the user list module or user administration module, right?
Yeah.
That's what you can call it, because list and details, they all go together as part of one module.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Now, as we said, once you get the actual system, right, you may fine tune and say, oh, it's displayed as a one screen with multiple buttons, and I can select whatever button I wanted, or it is kind of displayed as a drop down list from the top. As soon as I click on admin and I select whatever I want to do it.
Yep, and that's where some of the design detail comes.
Okay, I think Herschel is getting it off.
You know, and you. Yes, go ahead. Someone has a question.
No, Herschel, you were getting cut off again.
Oh, okay.
Again, what Herschel was pointing it out, that's where the patterns of how the application is built. Is it a drop down or a separate, like it's a window which allows you to select the list, comes into the play, right? But as you go through it, implementation, you will get a better clarity in terms of hey, this is how the system is implemented. Okay. Any other questions you have it on the requirements document before we get into the next segment?
We just take the rule for the username the way it is, or like we assume that like
Again, what is a requirement? Right. So when I look at this, right, it says that username is created from probably first name, last name. Right. So when you click on add new user, right, it'll gives you in the user detail page, and there should be a rule there which tells it whether it's a system generated or manually entered. Right. So login username looks like it's not a choice that you can do it. It auto generates it. There you go, right? Display system generated username assigned to the member. So it is a system generated. It does look into the business rule to say it's if there is a way to tell you how it gets generated. So one more scroll down. I think it'll be in the business rules. Yeah, so it's not there, right? So that's something that you ask a customer or your business users and says, hey, what is the rule? It's system generated. Looks like it's based on this one. It looks like your first letter from the first name followed by the last name is how it gets generated.
Yep, similar to the Rflown. Okay.
Okay, those are the kind of missing requirement that, as you pointed out, right? When you do 3C and T, you flag it and says, hey, I need to know this detail.
All right. Okay, let me flip back to all the way up.
Herschel, have you formed the teams yet?
No, I think we need to form the teams. And that's what I was getting next. See if we can.
So let's talk through it while you're defining it, right, Herschel? The key thing we need to know is who all is planning to be in person next weekend, and then who is planning to stay online. Based on that, we need to form the teams, right? So Madhvi, you raised the hand.
I will come in class.
Yes.
Okay, whoever is coming in class, raise your hand so I can quickly count it. So it looks like Madhvi, Bhumika, Jayashri, Rashmi, Navina, Deepa, the 6 of you have raised the hand.
Okay. Let me just quickly note down who else.
I'm going to come into class too.
Okay, Christy. Herschel, you might want to open up a notepad and capture it. We have
I got a screenshot.
In class.
Maya, are you going to be in class? Raise your hand so that we can capture it.
Oh yeah, I will come in class.
Okay.
All right, I got the picture.
Well, add Maya to the picture because I think she hasn't raised the hand through this tool.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Please add me.
Yeah. All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah,
and,
Herschel, just put it on a notepad. Let's just write it down so we can form the team right here. Right, so it's Madhvi. I'll tell you, you go ahead and type it. So it's Madhvi, Bhumika, Jayashri, Rashmi, Navina, Deepa, Mika, Rohini, Shubangi, Maya, and Christy.
Okay.
So that makes it 10, 11 of them.
11. Okay. Gotcha.
Add Nicole Olamo.
Oh,
Nicole, you're going to be in the room? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
12.
but I'm traveling. I'll make my best to be there, but I won't be there on Sunday.
Okay. So
That's fine.
okay. So we just want to make sure in that. And then the offline is
I'll come in class too.
Roger is coming too.
Okay.
So only Anjali, looks like Anjali, Elsa are the two online.
I think there are a few missing.
Nicole.
I'm not sure everybody's here today.
Rohini is not here.
I'll be in class on
Yeah.
Saturday, not on Sunday.
Right.
No,
so
I'm there. I'm
Oh,
in-
Rohini. Ah, okay. Sorry.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She just lowered her hand. I thought I counted her. Because right now we have 15 people, and Herschel, you got 15 here?
Two missing. I think I'm not sure who is missing.
Yeah, let's not worry about who is missing. We'll add it up online.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep.
Yep, that's what we have 15 people here on that, right?
So 12 in the classroom, 3 online so far.
Yeah, so let's make a team of 4 each, Herschel.
Yep.
Right. So let's just make it team 1, team 2, and team 3, right? And then online is a team 4, right? So Madhvi, yourself, Bhumika, Jayashree, and Rashmi is team 1. Navina, Deepa, Mika, and Rohini is team 2. Shubangi, Maya, Christy, and Roger is team 3. And then Nicole, you will partner with Anjali and Elsa as a team 4. And then anybody else who joins later, we can just add it to the team 4.
I think there might be one person, so we will see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now just note down your team members, right? Because those are the people that you're going to work with at. Okay, for this project for the next week or so. Right. And here is what we're going to do. Right. For each team, we're going to identify a couple of modules that you're going to start building the test cases for that. Oh, you want to keep that. Okay.
Yep.
So team 1, let's go through it. Actually, if we just want it down. Team 1, you want to do a receiving workflow, Herschel?
Team 1, yes. So we can give them receiving homepage. And I think we can give them something different, Dilip.
Okay. So my thought, Herschel, was like it's give one of the primary modules and one from the admin listing to things, right? So if you're giving them warranty.
Yep. Warranty information.
Let's do a warranty information. And then we need to give one of the list you to give saying as a homepage. So let's just do a warranty information. So which is 610 and 611. Let's write it down next to it.
Actually, I'm thinking that, Dilip, we can give them defect category management.
Yeah. So let's write down the code also, Herschel. So warranty information is 610 and 611.
Just 610.
So put okay, you just don't want a shipping list. Okay, 6.10.
Yep.
And then let's go to the defect. Let's get the rollout to defect is, I think it's at the bottom, right?
Defect category is 630, 31.
30 and 31. Okay. So put 630 and 631. Okay.
Okay.
Team 2.
I think we can give them inventory 1.
Bulk, no, not the bulk update. To go scroll up a little bit.
The inventory, which is cartridge inventory workflow. So 6.6 and 6.7. We will not give them 6.8, which is image 1. So
no, don't do that. 6.7, 6.8.
Yep.
No, 6.6 and 6.7, right?
Yeah, 6.6 and 6.7.
Let's do that. Six, 7, 6, 8. And then we need to give one of the functional or the admin ones.
Yes, yes. So we can give them.
Let's give the cartridge list and the detail, 12 and 13, because that's related to some of the inventory.
Okay, 6, 12, and 13.
No, 620 and 21.
Okay, 620, 6.21.
Yeah. Okay, so the team 3, you want to give.
We can give them receiving.
Okay, so 6.4, 6.5.
Yep.
And then
6.4, 6.5, which is receiving flow, right? That's
Yep.
what it is. And how about we give them homepage?
Yeah, so which is 6.2, 6.3.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last group, let's give shipping, which is 6, 12, and 13.
I'm thinking shipping, we can give them something different. One of the team has, Dilip.
Oh,
For
so
the
we
last
can
team.
compare it. Okay.
Yeah, we can compare and so forth.
Let's give them 6. The same thing as a warranty one. Or you want to
Warranty
give
one,
it receiving?
okay. Yeah,
I
that's fine. A warranty or receiving, either one is fine.
Okay, so let's give the receiving and then
Okay.
give one of the admin as different one.
Yes.
Do you want to do admin codes and parameters, like which is
Yes,
24
let's
and
do-
25?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, and Herschel, if you can just copy and paste this thing into text in the chat screen also, so they can get that right away.
Make sure you remember your teammates. I think I have the team member names as well. So team 4. Yep. So I think that is a good thing.
And then we'll probably send it out in the email also, but here it is. That. Rashmi, you still have your hand raised. Is it from the previous one? Okay.
Oh yeah, from previous one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So, Herschel, if you can flip it back to the description. Okay. So now, the team assignment, sorry. So this is your team. Here are the modules. What you need to do is essentially build the trees and write test cases for the module that is assigned to your team. Okay. Now realize it, just because you have a defect category management and warranty information, you need to understand it is how other modules either provide input or you generate output for verification. So even though it's a warranty information, you may still have to see it, what comes before and after, and understand that also. If there are things that is kind of built it in a drop-down list, then you may have to look into some of the admin pages to understand how that works also. Okay. So, but primary, you're writing the test cases for the 3 or 4 modules that is assigned to you.
Yeah, I think everybody has 2 modules only. Okay, so warranty information is one module, defect category is the second one. Now there are multiple screens that goes along with it, but that's part of one module.
Yep. Right. So when I was saying module, I was saying the 6.x numbers, right?
Yep.
So everybody has either 3 or 4 X numbers only. And that gives you a scope of the primary trees you will write it and the test cases that you will write it for them. Okay. And you should be able to do all of this work. The tree creation, you can do it on a screen or in the PowerPoint or take a picture, whatever works for the team.
Or just list it out as well, right?
Right.
I mean,
or you can list it out into a notepad and says, here are the trees, which is like 4 values. And then I would like you guys to use Azure DevOps to write the test cases so you can easily share with each other.
Okay. So we have next scheduled class lab session on Thursday. So let's talk about what is the goal for Thursday. for them. So you need to spend some time over the week, right? Between tomorrow and Thursday, and at least come up with what you basically for these two modules, the test scenarios tree. Okay, so you are not writing any detailed test cases, but these two modules, you will need to come up with the test scenarios, like how you plan to test this thing, what are the different scenarios that you guys can think of. And it's a team exercise, not an individual exercise. So I would suggest you coordinate with your team among the team members, and maybe carve out maybe a touch base, maybe to review the work and basically produce the work as well. So what we have seen in the past is a lot of team members, they set up the Zoom meetings on their own, and they work with the team members and they review basically those work. And we need like a one set of scenarios, basically, not each from each team member. It's the teamwork, right? So we expect you to produce the scenarios for on Thursday, and we'll review that here on Thursday.
Now, if you don't have a personal Zoom, you can actually just go to zoom.us and then sign up for a free one. That easily allows you to use it for 40 minutes at a stretch. And I don't think they've put the limits back yet since COVID. So you can actually technically use it for up to 10 users just fine, free, as long as you need it.
Right.
Okay. And in that Zoom session, you can do a screen sharing, whatever we are doing here, you can do that with the exception of you cannot record it. Okay, so for Thursday, what you need to do it is you need to build a tree, one set of tree from each team, right? And be ready to share. So like it's for team one example, right? So you will have a tree that essentially tells us how you plan to test the functionality, which is written in sections 6.10, 6.30, and 6.31. So you may have like 3 trees, one per screen, or you may have 3 trees just for the warranty, right? That talks about what all you're going to do it. Okay, everybody clear on their assignment for Thursday? Use a thumbs up sign so that I know that there is a good understanding.
Can I ask a favor? Since we have to like arrange ourselves like for the next lab, can you divide us into like breakout rooms so we can actually like, you know, talk to each other how we're gonna arrange the work, because we don't really have like each other's emails. So
Just share with, I think,
share with each other, right?
Yeah. I'll leave the line open here for a few minutes so that you can share email with each other. Yeah.
And you can send actually a private chat.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go into the chat and select it like it's 2, you can pick anyone and send directly an email message to them. So if you don't want to share it with the whole class, but share it only with your team, you can do that.
Do you guys want to meet for 5-10 minutes after we are done discussing this? I can create breakout rooms for you guys to share the information if you need it.
It's just the problem is that a lot of people who sit now in the chat room, they do not have their real names, so that's a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Sure, so Mika, Deepa is Drev Kumar is Deepa.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I think Navina and Rohini has their original names.
And Nicole, what about Nicole? I don't see her.
Nicole is Olama. Anjali.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Harshal, do you want to create a breakout room and then give everybody just 2 minutes, move them in breakout rooms?
Yep.
So that they can do that conversation and then.
Right.
Dilip, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I see Nicole and Elsa both are same.
So
says-
Nicole and Elza, no, they are different.
It says Elza.
Elza Olama,
And Nicole Olama.
Olama.
Okay.
They are two different people, Anjali. They
Choose-
are, and Nicole, if I'm saying it right? Elza is your daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
But I can't see in the chat.
They are there on the chat, Anjali. Nicole is just like as an Olama, and Elza is with Elza Olama.
Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, thank you.
So let me just quickly create a breakout room. But so one last time, any question on the Thursday's cutout work? Okay, so I'll expect you guys to be ready for Thursday. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create a breakout room.